Okay, so welcome everyone and Carmen. Welcome to Reflexology and Mudras for Digestive Health. This is an online webinar of an hour and a half or 2 hours. Those of you who have missed the live session, you can access this video and watch it whenever you like for the next 48 hours. So the focus of today is how we can enhance our digestive health with the help of reflexology and mudras. Oggi parleremo di digestione, come aiutano il digestione con riflessologia e mudra, attraverso riflessologia e mudra. Okay, so what are we going to explore today? So we're going to start again with what is acupressure and reflexology. Those of you who attended the previous webinar, this part will be a bit repeated. How does it work? What are the benefits for digestion? And the points, the specific points for selected organs on the hands and the feet. And of course, then what are mudras and some important mudras to boost our digestion. Wait, let me... Okay, so Carmen, tu ricordi questo, no? The introduzione. It's same as last time, so I'll just do corto.
Sì.
Parlo meno perché è stessa cosa di prima volta. Okay, so for those who are here for the first time, I'll just quickly go through a bit of the introduction. So acupressure is the simple art of healing that brings balance and harmony to our organ systems via the pranic network. So the idea is that how can we approach this holistic art of healing which helps to balance internal systems instead of an intervention which is more invasive that adds some chemical or adds some medicine to the body to help it to get rid of a disease or get rid of a condition. How can we use the internal resources of the body? So the body already has some resources. How can we enable or use these internal resources to bring a balance and harmony in the pranic network? So pranic network, if you're not familiar, it is simply put, it is the channels of energy. We have some energy channels within the body. So the channels of energy within us that carry the life force energy which keeps all the organs functioning. So it is in easier way how we experience this prana is vitality. Vitality is that which keeps us not just alive but keeps us in the fullest expression of life. It helps us to, for example, when the liver is high in prana, it can do its filtration job the best. Yeah, it can really do what it's supposed to do in the most efficient way possible. So the idea is higher the prana, the better even individual cells are able to function. So what we're doing through acupressure is we are enabling the body to access its own vitality better. So now this happens in different ways. Now acupressure has many different branches, out of which reflexology is one of them. So some other ones will be like meridianology, marma, auricle therapy, sujok therapy. These are all different ways in which you approach acupressure. Means you use the pressure on particular vitality points to stimulate the channels, to allow the channels to balance. Okay. So these points represent organs in the body and they reflect the condition of these organs. So these particular points which we see, they are not just therapeutic. Like, you know, when you press those points, it has an effect of balancing the prana in those channels, but it also has an effect to reflect the condition of the organ. So let's say the organ is struggling a bit, not so balanced. So that organ, it shows you that it is not doing okay by giving sensitivity on the local vitality point. So if you have issues in your stomach, so maybe the stomach is too much acidic, no acid in the stomach, then the stomach point will be very painful because it represents an imbalance in the stomach organ. So like that, every point has a dual value. One value is of being therapeutic, and the other value is of being diagnostic. Today we will focus on the therapeutic value, because diagnostics is something which you pick up over time. As you keep practicing, you will tune in and see, today this point feels like this. On this person, this points feel like this. So you'll be able to pick up the diagnostics later. For now, what points you need to support. So for example, here the focus is digestive health. So you know that the aim is digestion, so you don't need to look for which points to press. We are directly showing you the points and we're using it for the therapeutic potential. Okay. So reflexology is the fundamental branch of acupressure. Out of all the branches, the main branch is reflexology, simply because it's very easy to learn and no side effects, no negative side effects. So for someone who's learning new, when you're learning something new, the first fear is, will I make a mistake, right? So here you can't make a mistake. Even if you don't press it accurately, you're not harming the body in any way. You just won't get the full effect of the treatment, but you won't harm the body. So that's a plus point when you learn a therapy, right? So acupressure's main branch is this reflexology, which are 39 points on the palms of the hand. 39 points, and 39 points also on the sole of the foot. So hand and foot, each 39 points. That is the set of this reflexology points. Okay. So how does acupressure work? As I mentioned, they are the main prana points, right? And you can think of acupressure points as the entry and exit points for prana. So the prana is all around us, right? And it is within us. Fresh prana keeps entering and flowing through the body. So, think of yourself as like a transparent membrane. So the energy goes in and out. It keeps flowing through the body. So those channels and the entry points are the pranic points. So when these vital channels are blocked, it results in imbalance and disease. So through systematic pressure, when we apply, it's not random pressure. Random pressure is like massage, you're paining, so you just press like this, you press, it's random. This is not random pressure. We are doing systematic pressure on accurate location. That is the science of reflexology. So that you are stimulating the correct organ and then balancing the pranic supply to that affected organ. So that's why it is very precise and systematic. So the aim is to re-establish equilibrium, bring equilibrium in the body's internal systems. Okay, this is a video I wanted to show. Okay, so this is a small video on digestion, because today's topic is digestion. I thought, let's understand the digestive process better. So it's a little long, like 4 minutes, but it's very informative. Yes.
Across the whole planet, humans eat on average between 1 and 2.7 kilograms of food a day. That's over 365 kilograms a year per person, and more than 28,800 kilograms over the course of a lifetime. And every last scrap makes its way through the digestive system. Comprised of 10 organs, covering 9 meters, and containing over 20 specialized cell types, this is one of the most diverse and complicated systems in the human body. Its parts continuously work in unison to fulfill a singular task, transforming the raw materials of your food into the nutrients and energy that keep you alive. Spanning the entire length of your torso, the digestive system has 4 main components. First, there's the gastrointestinal tract, a twisting channel that transports your food and has an internal surface area of between 30 and 40 square meters, enough to cover half a badminton court. Second, there's the pancreas, gallbladder, and liver, a trio of organs that break down food using an array of special juices. Third, the body's enzymes, hormones, nerves, and blood all work together to break down food, modulate the digestive process, and deliver its final products. Finally, there's the mesentery, a large stretch of tissue that supports and positions all your digestive organs in the abdomen, enabling them to do their jobs. The digestive process begins before food even hits your tongue. Anticipating a tasty morsel, glands in your mouth start to pump out saliva. We produce about 1.5 liters of this liquid each day. Once inside your mouth, chewing combines with the sloshing saliva to turn food into a moist lump called the bolus. Enzymes present in the saliva break down any starch. Then your food finds itself at the rim of a 25 centimeter long tube called the esophagus, down which it must plunge to reach the stomach. Nerves in the surrounding esophageal tissue sense the bolus's presence and trigger peristalsis, a series of defined muscular contractions. That propels the food into the stomach, where it's left at the mercy of the muscular stomach walls, which pound the bolus, breaking it into chunks. Hormones secreted by cells in the lining trigger the release of acids and enzyme-rich juices from the stomach wall that start to dissolve the food and break down its proteins. These hormones also alert the pancreas, liver, and gallbladder to produce digestive juices and transfer bile, a yellowish-green liquid that digests fat, in preparation for the next stage. After 3 hours inside the stomach, the once shapely bolus is now a frothy liquid called chyme, and it's ready to move into the small intestine. The liver sends bile to the gallbladder, which secretes it into the first portion of the small intestine, called the duodenum. Here, it dissolves the fats floating in the slurry of chyme so they can be easily digested by the pancreatic and intestinal juices that have leached onto the scene. These enzyme-rich juices break the fat molecules down into fatty acids and glycerol for easier absorption into the body. The enzymes also carry out the final deconstruction of proteins into amino acids and carbohydrates into glucose. This happens in the small intestine's lower regions, the jejunum and ileum, which are coated in millions of tiny projections called villi. These create a huge surface area to maximize molecule absorption and transference into the bloodstream. The blood takes them on the final leg of their journey to feed the body's organs and tissues. But it's not over quite yet. Leftover fiber, water, and dead cells sloughed off during digestion make it into the large intestine, also known as the colon. The body drains out most of the remaining fluid through the intestinal wall. What's left is a soft mass called stool. The colon squeezes this byproduct into a pouch called the rectum, where nerves sense it expanding and tell the body when it's time to expel the waste. The byproducts of digestion exit through the anus, and the food's long journey, typically lasting between 30 and 40 hours, is finally complete. TED-Ed is a nonprofit.
Ok, un po' lungo ma importante perché posso guardare tutto il dipartimento, all the different departments of the digestive system. You can see all the different functions, and the idea is also to show how the nerves, even the nerves in peristaltic movement, for that movement, even the nerves are involved, the liver, pancreas, how each part of the digestive system plays such an important role. So this is important because now you will understand why we selected the reflexology points which I'm going to share. Yeah, so that was the intention, to understand digestion. Okay. So the following points have been very lovingly selected to support the digestive system, strengthen metabolism. Now, metabolism is very important, not just for digestion, but also for your energy levels, for your brain function, anything, the quality of your life, the quality of vitality, quality of energy, quality of sleep. All of this depend on metabolism. Metabolism is like the chemicals in your body, the way that you use energy. So I'm eating food, but what am I doing? I'm converting that food into energy. So the conversion of food into energy and the way, the quality of that conversion, how many toxins are produced as a byproduct, how much is wasted, how much is used, all this is part of metabolism. So through metabolism, what we are actually working with is also the energy levels of the body, is also the quality of rest of the body. It's a very holistic approach to digestion, looking at the metabolic base, how the metabolism is functioning. So even, being overweight, underweight, any issues with absorption, I would say even like skin conditions, allergies, all these are related to metabolism. So when the metabolism is balanced, you won't believe how so many other diseases, disorders, conditions are just looked after, because it's the metabolism which causes these symptoms to erupt from the body. Okay, so every point can be pressed with firm, even pressure. That means firm, even pressure without pulsation. So we don't press sleeve, press sleeve, press sleeve. No. Press and hold for 15 seconds, 10 to 15 seconds. Best to use your thumb, or if you have a safe reflexology instrument, you can. But I encourage you to use your thumb so that you get a feel of where the points are and how you press it. Okay, so here are the points. So that what we just saw in the video, most of those points are here. So pituitary gland is the main gland which helps to control the hormones. And hormones are very important also for digestion because they are stimulating. They're stimulating constantly the juices to flow. They're stimulating how the food breaks down. So sometimes some food breaks down faster, some food absorbs faster. Why all those differences? Because there are different chemicals, different hormones which are released by the digestive system. So pituitary gland controls all the hormones, including your thyroid. So it gives the command, it controls all the other endocrine glands. So the main endocrine gland in digestion is also thyroid, because thyroid gland, which is here like a butterfly, it really plays the primary role in metabolism. Yeah, so that's why hyperthyroidism, hypothyroidism, you can see it in the person's body shape. So if you're a little big, hefty, overweight, a little dull, sleepy, that is when you're hypothyroid, not enough thyroid. If you are hyperthyroid, means lot, no, alto, when it is very high, the thyroid, then you're very hyper. So you'll be very thin, eyes will be inside, very thin, skinny frame, because high metabolism. So food is getting digested very fast. Now, at the same time, you could also feel weak because it is too, without absorbing the energy from the food, it's just getting converted into metabolic waste. So the rate, the pace, the speed at which the food is being converted, that is decided by thyroid. So thyroid directly plays a role in metabolism, very important. What else about, thyroid also helps in growth. So that's why this point is very good for growing children, like adolescents, teenagers. It's a very good point to aid, to help them. So pituitary thyroid, very important for anything to do with digestion. One more thing of thyroid is it stimulates peristaltic movement, that movement in the intestines. So now you're seeing the connection. If thyroid decides how fast the food is moving through intestines, that means it's also deciding how fast the food is being absorbed. What is the quality time the food is getting to spend in the intestines so that, the energy is absorbed from it, carbohydrates, proteins, whatever. Nutrition is taken from it, aram se, with enough time, the nutrition is taken from it. At the same time, if it is too slow, that means if the thyroid does not speeden up that movement, it starts to go bad. So it takes the nutrition and then it also starts forming toxins in the body. So then toxicity will be high, toxins will be high. So the time has to be just perfect. Look how beautiful the whole body is made, no? The time has to be perfect so that the food passes just in, let's say, 10 seconds or 20 seconds or 10 minutes, whatever. It passes just in the right amount of time so that nutrition is taken, but not much toxins are formed. So that balance between the pace and rate of metabolism is done by our thyroid. 10 is anus. Anus is important because it's like constipation, expulsion of waste, final elimination of waste is very important for digestive health, because otherwise the toxin is just building in the body. So good digestion does not only mean eating. Good digestion is eating, digesting, and throwing out. That is a complete digestion process. Okay, so that's why we include anus also in this, because it helps to get rid of the toxins. And a lot of people, the food reaches till rectum and anus, but they have issues in expulsion. That is constipation, right? So the issues in expulsion, giving pressure on this point really helps. Okay, then directly relevant points: small intestine, large intestine, of course, that is direct, obvious for digestion. Liver, pancreas, and kidneys. These are the three supporting organs for digestion. Liver, pancreas, kidney. Liver produces bile, which breaks down the food. 25. Pancreas, both, not only sugar metabolism, but also it directly releases a hormone into the intestines, which helps for digestive health. And finally, kidney. Kidney balances the water levels in the body and also filters the blood, the body's wastes. So that's why important along with liver. Finally, stomach. It's funny that usually we think digestion, first we think stomach. But here last we are doing stomach, because actually stomach is like a reception, like the ingresso, solo per salutare. So it just invites the food. Okay, hello. And it does the main breaking down. Like, no, it just breaks down the food into smaller particles. But absorption, nutrition is happening in the intestines. Yeah, so that is the main set of points we'll be doing today for digestion. Last one is solar plexus. Solar plexus is your Manipura chakra. So it's the solar energy, the sun energy in the body. So heat helps for digestion. So digestive fire. That's why we give 29 to improve metabolism and to keep the core strong, so that all the organs have a good source of energy. Where's the hand? Sorry. Yeah, so we'll do the hand points, which are these on the left. So let's start with point number 3. This was for those of you who attended the last webinar. Point 3 was there as well. Here, so maybe I can reduce the screen. Yeah. So point 3 is, again, center of the spiral, like last time. Exactly, center of the spiral. So on all our hands, we have a spiral. No, on the thumb, we have a spiral. So just press the center of the spiral. Wrap your fingers around the receiving thumb and apply pressure like this. You can close your eyes and put firm pressure, 15 seconds. And relax. So that was pituitary gland, center of the spiral. Next, we have point 8, thyroid. Again, very easy to find. Here, this is point 8, thyroid. I'll show how to find. So it is the center of this, it's below the thumb, at the base of the thumb, that bulge, center of the bulge. So how do you find it? Easy way. See, you have this bone, one joint here, right? It's a joint. See, first joint is here. Uno, due, qua. So the second joint, and then the wrist. This is 3. So 1, 2, 3. Uno, due, e tre. Now in between 2 and 3, exactly in the middle of 2 and 3. That is your point number 8. So it is soft, morbido qua. It's little fleshy. Yeah. So you press there. Little painful. You press a little hard and it'll, Even without pressing hard, it's quite painful. Again, you can close your eyes. So you don't have to press like this now. When you're doing for yourself, you sit like this and you press like this. Oh. This is thyroid. Good. Okay. Now we go to point number 10, anus. So 10, if you can see in the picture, it's shown right in the corner here. That's because it's not on the front. It's slightly at the back. So how do we find this point? If you stretch your fingers like this, stretch your fingers, you'll see a small hole here, buka. So that is your point number 10. So you open it like this, then you put the finger and then relax and press. So it looks like this. See? So you're pressing inside. So you press like that and relax your hand. So it's coming at the back. It's behind. It's not in the front. See? It's not in the front. It's at the back there. Again, 15 seconds. 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And relax. So this was the point here. Point number 10, anus, for expulsion of waste, so that the elimination happens in a healthy way. Okay. Now, 19 and 20, small intestine and large intestine. See, they're here, 19 and 20, this part of the hand. So we'll see how to find it now. Okay. So do like this, join the thumb with the little finger. So you can see this bridge here, like a gap. Yeah. So here we have a line here. So down there's one point and up. So we are on the upper point. See, if I put my palm like this, can you see this slope? It's going like this, right? See, it goes up and then down like this. Everyone's hand goes like this. See, here we have a rise. So it is on the upper mount. So when you do like this, you should feel, see, it's a gap here. So that is the point. So first step is you find the passage, the gap. Second step, you go to the side and see the bump. So it is after the bump. There's a bump like this. It's just after the bump. So this is your 19. You'll nicely, your finger fits there. It's a good place like that. Your finger fits nicely there. It's not very painful. This point is not very painful because intestines are very deep in the body. So we don't have much awareness of the intestine. So here, this is 19 on top. So we are pressing down. So the point is here. So we are pressing like this. We're pressing down like that. So press and hold. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And relax. So that was 19. Now from 19, small intestine, we're going to 20. How do we go to 20? We take one thumb, okay, one thumb diagonal towards the little finger. So we're here, we're going on this line, okay, this is the line. So one thumb diagonal 20. So I show you both the points together like this. 19 and then one thumb 20, one finger. One finger between 19 and 20, diagonal towards the little finger. This is 20. This point is little painful. Maybe little painful. Just press and see, because large intestine is usually, we can feel. That's where all the waste gets stuck. So even the prana gets congested over there. It gets stuck there. So small intestine does its work. And then in the large intestine, it gets stuck because there's not much water. When you drink a lot of water, this point will not be too painful. It's smooth. In the large intestine, it will be smooth. But if the body is dehydrated, if there's less water in the body, then this is usually painful because it gets stuck here. So this is point 20, 19 and 20. So even on the other hand, all these points are on both hands. I'll just show you once, even on the other hand. Here. So this is 19 on top of this mountain here. And then one finger towards the little finger is 20. So we jump like this. 19 and 20, small and large intestine. Okay, so we finished pituitary, center of spiral, point 8 thyroid, in the center of second joint of the thumb, and the wrist joint. In the middle of both of this, you have your point number 8, thyroid. Slightly painful. Then point 10, anus inside this hole. Behind the thumb, if you press the thumb out, you have a hole here. That's your anus. And then 19 and 20, on top of this mountain, we have a mountain here. On the top of the mountain, 19. One finger towards the little finger, diagonal, is 20. 19 and 20. Okay, now we have 23, which is liver. So liver is only on the right hand. This is the first point, which is the only point in our entire sequence which is particular only to one hand is the liver. Because liver is aligned towards the right side, even in the body. Okay, how do we find it on the hand? So right hand, this is the joint. This is the bone, the little finger bone. Just below that bone is 23. So when you press this, you should not feel this bone. See, this bone is here, this knuckle, right? So it's a round shape here. You are below that. You should not be in touch with that. And you are inside. So you're just before this line. See this line, which is in between the ring and little finger. If you draw a line like this, it's just after that line. So you're not too external. You're not directly in line with the little finger. You're a little bit more towards the inside of the hand. That is your 23. You press and see. Press like this. You rotate a bit. One point is painful. That's your liver. Liver is always painful because it's very rarely balanced. It's very difficult for liver to be balanced. Again, so you close your eyes. 15 seconds. That is your liver. Okay, next we have pancreas. Point number 25, pancreas. Oops. Yeah. So pancreas, as I mentioned, it has a dual function. All the other endocrine glands are the glands which secrete hormones. Directly, they secrete hormones into your bloodstream. So pancreas is the only gland in the body which is both endocrine and exocrine. So endocrine means it directly releases into the bloodstream. That's why it affects your blood sugar level. Your sugar level of your whole blood, not only stomach blood sugar level, right? It is blood sugar level of the whole body. So it directly affects the whole body, and it's also exocrine because it releases digestive juices only into the intestine. So two functions it has. Pancreas very important, not just for sugar metabolism, but also in digestion it plays a role. That's why it is dual function. So here is our 25 in between the little finger and the ring finger. So let's find it on the hand. This is my ring finger and my little finger. So you put it on this web. See, you have this bridge, no, in between both. Put it on the bridge and then drag it down. Just drag it down and there you have it. Just in between both. Yes, I'll do it. So just in between both of this here, you'll feel a gap in between the bone. You feel a small gap. See, here there are two bones. See these two bones, no? 1, 2. So in between both this gap, you feel a point. So that's where you apply. And close your eyes and apply for 15 seconds. Okay. So we saw pancreas, very important, in between the little finger and the ring finger. Now we are coming to stomach, the point that we commonly associate with digestion and anything, like even anything we say, I have stomach pain, immediately hand goes and we say, this is my stomach. No, we associate full abdomen as stomach in our mind. That is the stomach. So it's the main identity of your digestion. So where is it? It's here in between the thumb and the index finger. It's a similar style of location as 25. And why is that? I'll be showing now. So how did we do 25? We put our hand here in between the ring and little finger and then we dragged it down and we pressed like this. Same way, oops. Same way we're doing it now here. So you put your thumb here. It's not staying. Sticker. Okay. So you put your thumb here and then drag it down to this point in between both. And you press here. Even this is very painful. Stomach is usually very, very sensitive point. So just see how it feels. So you put your thumb, drag it down just a little bit down. See here in front and then press here and release. And relax. This is usually a sore point. So hold for 15 seconds. And relax. So this is the stomach point. Okay, so we have stomach 27. By the way, you might be wondering why these strange numbers like 3, 8 and then 19, 20. It's because it's following the serial order of 1 to 39, which are the official complete set of reflexology points. So in case in the future you end up learning all 39 points, or you may go to another reflexologist, you have the reference of the serial number that you are practicing. It is in sequence. Okay, after 27 stomach, we go to 29 solar plexus. So as I mentioned, solar plexus is like your own personal sun, and digestion equals heat. So different elements in the body you can associate to different functions, right? For example, circulation needs a lot of mobility. You need to move around the whole body. So it's like air always moving, or like water, because blood is liquid. It's like water flowing and moving everywhere. Like that, digestion is pure fire because it is burning the food. You are burning the fat, they say, right? So you are burning the food. You're like cooking the food again in the stomach so that you can absorb the nutrition. So it's a very fire element. So you need strong solar plexus, good solar energy in the body to be able to metabolize your food. Okay, now where is it? Very easy. Exactly center of the palm. So exactly the center of your palm, solar plexus, put your thumb there and relax your hand, eyes closed. 15 seconds. And relax. And slowly you can open your eyes. Okay, before we do, we'll do a quick revision of all the points. Okay, so I've missed kidney, 26 kidney. I skipped it, so I'm just showing it now. 26 here, in the middle of all the points, all the chaos here, we have 26 in the middle. But to find it is very nice, very easy. You make a loose fist with your hand. So what does it mean, loose fist? You put one finger and you close. It's like if we make a fist, we make tight fist, but it's not. It's a loose fist where the middle finger touches the palm. So the middle finger, see my middle finger is touching here. So this is my 26 kidney. You apply pressure again, 15 seconds. And relax. So that was 26 kidney, important for filtration. Great. Okay, any other doubts before we do a revision? We can do a revision of all the points now quickly. Okay. Okay, so now I will keep this open so you can see this and you can see my screen, and I will just do a revision continuously 3 to 29. So if we start first with point number 3, center of the spiral. So on your thumb, if you're doing for someone else, you see where is their spiral, center of their spiral, that is pituitary. So press and hold 15 seconds. And relax. Next is thyroid. Easy way to find it is in between first joint and second joint of the thumb and the wrist. So the center of both these joints. Two joints, articolazione, mezzo. Mezzo, just in the middle of these two. Press it there. This is your thyroid. Little bit painful point. Easier to press it like this. So you put your hand down and you just, and press like this. And relax. That was 0.8. Then we go to 10. So can you see this dent here for point number 10, anus? Just how in the body your anus is at the back, even here the anus is at the back. So it's inside this hole here. We have this hole. So you put your finger there, then relax your hand. So you stretch, find the point, relax, and then press. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, and relax. So that was 8 and 10. Then 19 and 20. 19, when you touch your thumb and little finger, you have a passage here. And then if you turn to the side, you can see a mountain, like a slope, it goes up. So we're on top of the mountain. on top of the mountain in the passage. So see, when you press, you'll feel the pressure on the finger. That's the point. Press and hold for small intestine 19. And relax. 20. This is 19 and then you have 20. One step closer to the little finger. So we're going diagonal from 19, diagonal 20. 20 can be a little more painful than 19. And relax. One quick shortcut or a trick is point number 10 and 20, anus and large intestine, you can press when you need to go to the bathroom. If you're constipated, not able to go to the loo, you press these 2 points and immediately you can, feel some relief. So you can use 10 and 20 in the morning when you want to go to the bathroom. Okay, then liver, right hand only on the right hand, below the little finger. Below the little finger. And release. So that was 23, liver, just below the knuckle, below this bone, below the round bone of the small finger. Great. Then we have 25, pancreas. For pancreas, we put the thumb in the middle, in the bridge between the ring and little finger, and then drag it down. You feel two bones, right? Two round bones. You drag it down to the middle of both, in the gap, a V-shaped gap, and apply pressure on this V-shaped gap. That is the 25. And relax. That was pancreas. Now we have kidney. Loose fist. Put one finger, gently roll the other fingers over where the middle finger touches the hand, usually on near the base of the thumb. That's where it touches. So where the middle finger touches, that is your 26, kidney. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, and relax. Okay. So pancreas, kidneys over, 27. Between thumb and index finger, drag this again. Put the finger on the gap and then drag it. Just below there, you have 27, quite a painful point. 27 and 8. These are the two most painful points in digestion. Stomach and pancreas, thyroid. So press and hold 15 seconds for stomach. And relax. Finally, solar plexus, center of the palm. Press and hold. Center of the palm. And relax. Okay, so that is all the hand points, all the hand reflexology points. If there are no doubts, we'll go on to foot. Yes? We'll move on to foot reflexology. Okay, so here we have 3 points in the feet which are important because feet is a little more complicated. So I just, selected the most important points in the feet. Okay, let's start with 25, which is the easiest. How was 25 in the hand in between the fourth and fifth finger, right? Fourth and fifth finger, we came down. Same on the foot. My foot is not so clean. Same on the foot in between the fourth and fifth toe. Fourth and fifth toe, you come down below this mount. See, this part is called like a mount. You have like a mountain, like a bridge here. So you're coming below that. So 25 will come here. So you see this gap, you draw a line down and here is your point. So you put your thumb and you press hard. So you have to press into the thumb, like into the foot like this. This is your 25 pancreas. Let me show on the big screen. So it is in line. See, this is the line in between the fourth and fifth toe. This gap, you draw the line here. This is, I'm just showing with the index finger because I can't turn my thumb. So it's like that. Yeah. So 15 seconds on both feet. Then we have 26, which is a very important point also when you feel dizzy, when you feel like you're going to faint, when the nutrition or when the primal, most important vitality in the body suddenly goes down. So you just feel low and ready to faint. That is 26. Immediately it helps to boost the body. So how do you find 26? Easiest way is when you press the sides of your feet together, you find this bridge here. See, you find like a fold. So it is right in the middle of that fold. So it is here. This is your 26. See, the foot has a W shape like this. If you see, you can see it on my foot actually. In the shadow, you can see it. Can you see? It's going up and then going like this. So this is the shape. So it is here where it goes up. When I press my sides together, it goes in. This goes in, it folds in. So this is the 26. How do we press it? Into the foot. So I'm pressing into the foot. Let me just sit. Yeah. Yeah. Important point on both feet when you press it together. Both the feet together when you press 26 immediately helps to revive the body. So 15 seconds. And relax. So that was 26 and 27. I'll show directly 27 as well. Now, very obvious on the foot is this round muscle here, right? The base of the toe, big toe, you can find this nice round thing. Just below that. So this is a round circle. Below that here, this is 27. So you can see it is in line with this, the gap in between the first and second toe. So first toe, second toe, in between this, below the ball, below the bulge. So this is the point. This is your 27. Press and hold for 15 seconds. This was 27, stomach. . So once again, 3 points. I'll just show it one more time. 25 between the third and between the fourth and fifth toe. Between fourth and fifth toe, below this top bulge, below the bulge is your 25 here. Then 26 inside the W. So the muscle curves up like this. So just there is your 26. And then 27 below the circular bulge. You have a circular bulge there. Just below that is your 27. So they're quite close together. 25 pancreas, 26 kidney, 27 stomach. So 3 points on the foot. Okay, so before we go to mudras, are there any doubts? Okay, so now we come to the mudras part of our practice. So what are mudras? Mudras are a very important practice of yogic science, of yoga practice. Because nowadays, we only see yoga as body asanas. There used to be also asanas for the hand, which are particular positions that the hand would be in to enhance the way that energy travels through the body. And they were so effective and they have such a therapeutic value. But it's very rarely invested in. People very rarely go in the depths of this yogic practice. Now it's getting revived again. You see all these videos on Facebook, on WhatsApp of this mudra for reducing this pain, or this mudra for diabetes, this mudra. It's actually very effective. It's very subtle because you're just putting a position and you're taking deep breaths, but it has a very deep impact on the body because it changes the balance of the elements. Each finger represents an element. This is your fire, and fire is supposed to purify anything. So if there's a problem, like if there's an impurity in any of the other elements, we balance it with fire. That's why all the fingers will touch the thumb. You take turns to bring all the finger to the thumb, because when you bring any other finger to the thumb, it means you are balancing that element. So fire, water, two extremes, fire, water. In the middle, we have space. Fire, water, space. In between space and water, we have earth and air. Second is air. So fire, air, space, earth, water. Those are the 5 fingers, 5 elements. When we bring an element to fire, this is the space element to fire. We are balancing the space element. When we bring one element to the base of the thumb, this is earth element. So I'm bringing earth element to the base of the thumb and then I'm covering it. I want to reduce the earth element. Balancing by reducing earth element. I can also increase it by putting the fire element at the base of water, at the base of earth, at the base of air. Then you are enhancing it. So it's all about balancing the elements in the body. So each of the following mudra can be practiced when needed. So mudra is good to use it therapeutically. That's why it is not so widely known, because it's not something which you have to do every day. Some mudras like chin mudra, it's good every day. It just helps to improve the energy in the brain. So some mudras are okay every day. But therapeutically, mudras are practiced only when needed. So that's why we mention when needed, because otherwise it will simply play with the elements in your body. So if your elements are balanced, no need again to do it. Because for example, if it's hot outside, summer, now it is summer time. So it's hot outside, already so much fire outside us, fire in the body. Over that, if you do Agni Mudra, over that if you do fire mudra, then full heat in the body. So it's too much. So you only use it when you need. But don't worry, we are doing very gentle, safe mudras. So mostly you can use it anytime and it's not a problem, especially the mudras which we will do today. Today we are doing mudras for digestion, and nobody's digestion is 100% perfect always. So you can anytime do this mudra. It will help you to balance your food. It will help you to balance your digestion. Okay, 5 to 15 minutes a day with deep breaths. So you can take the position and then take nice, deep, slow breath in and out. After I explain the mudras, we will do mudra meditation together. Okay. So here are the mudras. We'll first start with the mudras and then go to the pranayama, which is in the side. So the first mudra is Apana Mudra. We bring the thumb to the middle and the ring finger, and we leave the index and the little finger out. When we were small, we used to play puppets like this. No, we used to show like rabbit, deer, different animals like this. It's a very natural mudra. So this is the Apana Mudra. Apana Mudra, you can do it every day. I do it whenever I eat something heavy. After eating, immediately you can do. See, usually mudras we don't do immediately after food because we wait for the food to get digested. But digestion mudras are the only mudras which help you to digest. So immediately after eating, you can sit in the mudra for 10 minutes. Sit in Vajrasana and sit in Apana Mudra. It will help to digest food, especially if you ate something you know is pesant, it's a little bit heavy, you're not sure it will digest well. So you can sit in Vajrasana and do the Apana Mudra. So very good for digestion. It balances piles. Piles is hemorrhoids. So too much heat in the body, too much pressure in the intestines, in the body, that is piles. So it helps to balance piles. Flatulence. Flatulence is gas. So if this gas is which element? Air element, right? So which finger was air? This finger. So we are helping to reduce the space in the body, reduce that airy spaciousness in the body, balance the earth element. See, sometimes it's not literal. So if it is fire, which is high in the body, we don't work with fire. We work with opposite. We work with water. We try to balance water. So for example, if there's too much gas, if there's too much air element, we are working with earth. So that earth can ground. The earth can give you a grounding base for the excess air element. So it's a balancing of the opposite element. Okay, so in this mudra, we are balancing digestion. It helps to treat gas, too much, if you have hemorrhoids, piles, also for migraine. So migraine is when you get headache because of some indigestion, because of gas, indigestion, intolerance, some food, like some people gluten, some people sugar, some food doesn't suit you. That's usually why you get migraines. Actually, it's not a neurological thing, it's a digestive thing most of the time. So it's a very good mudra for that as well. Okay, now it facilitates expulsion of waste. So Apana Mudra is for Apana Vayu, which is the downward flowing energy, the downward Vayu. So it is helping to remove from the body. So any waste in the body has to come out from down, right? It has to come out as excretion. Not just excreta, not just going to the bathroom number 2, also sweating. It helps you to remove the toxins through sweat. So it's a detoxification mudra, not just digestion and detoxification. Now, it helps to connect with the earth element, which I mentioned, right? It helps you to really, so sometimes if you're feeling very, you're flying somewhere, you're not able to relax, your mind is going here, there, everywhere. It also just helps you to come back and connect with the earth element, to take the grounding of the earth element, if you're feeling off balance. Okay, now specifically for diabetes, because nowadays diabetes has become a very big problem. A lot of people have this problem of diabetes. So after you practice Apana Mudra, then you do Prana Mudra. That is a magic combination for diabetes. So Apana Mudra is the first one. So you do 15 minutes Apana Mudra followed by 15 minutes of Prana Mudra. That is a combination for diabetes. Okay, so this is our Apana Mudra. Next we have Varun or Varuna Mudra. Usually some places it's called Varun, some places called Varuna Mudra. So this mudra, we are touching the little finger to the thumb. So in some photos they will show you like this. But we are touching the tip to the tip of the thumb like this. Sometimes it's difficult to open the last finger. See, it will be like this, no problem. It's okay, but just let it touch and relax the hands like that. Okay, so Varun Mudra, very good for constipation. So if you're not able to pass stools, if 2-3 days you've not gone to the bathroom, it helps to relieve constipation. Dryness, very important. Dryness of eyes, digestive tract. So mouth, throat and intestines. When you feel very dry in your throat, No, you drink water, still you feel a dryness in the throat. This whole tract, your esophagus, inside your stomach, very dry. You feel that dryness also is a imbalance of your digestion. So when there is dryness in the eyes, because eyes is connected to same fire, pitta fire in Ayurveda, it's called pitta. The same fire which is in the stomach reflects in the eyes, and that's why different metabolism, different digestion reflects in the eyes. That's why the doctors check the eye. Any homeopath or Ayurvedic doctor, they'll check the eye to see your digestion. So when the eyes are dry, also mouth, eyes, throat, intestines, dryness of skin. So if your skin is dry because of a digestive issue, you get eczema, psoriasis, like cracks in the skin, itchiness in the skin. This dryness also Varuna Mudra helps a lot. Additionally, any joint issues in the articulazione, any problem in the joints, arthritis, any of this condition also Varuna Mudra helps a lot. So osteoarthritis, joint pain, also any degeneration, like if the joints are starting to become weak because of too much air element, then also this will help, because it is balancing the water in the body. It is helping us absorb more water, balancing the way the water is nourishing the body. Otherwise, an imbalance in the water can cause dryness, right? Because an imbalance in water can cause an imbalance also in the air element, fire element, like that. So this particular mudra helps in this. Also for cramps, blood purification, and hormone deficiency. So these are additional, every mudra has many, many purposes. When you have the intention to use a particular mudra for a benefit, I feel it really works for that. Of course, it will also work in many other layers. So you are doing Apana Mudra for, let's say, because of gas. So you're doing Apana Mudra every day because of gas. So gas will also go. But along with that, without you realizing, also your skin becomes better, your detoxification happens better. So there are other benefits which the mudra has, but our focus is usually on one of the benefits. But it's nice to know the holistic effect of that mudra. Okay, so we have Apana and then Varuna. Finally, we end with Prana. Prana Mudra is always the last because it enhances the effect of the other mudras. So that's why it is always done in the sequence. It's usually in the end. If you're doing only for diabetes, then you can only do Apana and then directly Prana Mudra. Today we will do all three, 5 minutes each of Apana, Varun Mudra, and then Prana Mudra. Prana Mudra is same as Varun Mudra, but you're also adding your ring finger. So first it was only fire to water, and then you also add the earth. That's your Prana Mudra. The tips of the fingers are touching. So any deficiencies in the body, deficiency not just in immunity, here it's written impaired immunity, but also deficiencies, your digestive deficiency, right? Like if you're not absorbing iron, you're not absorbing calcium, these are all deficiencies in the body, important minerals and vitamins. So it helps to balance even that. Low energy because of these deficiencies. When these deficiencies are in the body, the body is low on prana, low on energy. So it helps to enhance. That's why it's called Prana Mudra. So it is overall vitality, very strong mudra. So it supports the mudra against other diseases. So any of the other mudras, it helps to enhance the function of that mudras against any infections or diseases. It removes impurities in the blood. So impurities in the blood can be, even Varuna Mudra is for blood purification. Why again and again this thing of blood purification is coming? It's because when we talk about digestion, when we talk about metabolism, we are intaking something, a process is happening, and there are byproducts. Like in the factory is producing some object. They are producing the object, but the byproduct is some smoke, right? Even when the car is running, the car is converting petrol, fuel, gas into kinetic energy, into movement, no? And when it is doing that, the byproduct is smoke. So smoke is coming out of the exhaust pipe. That is a byproduct, a toxin which is produced by the process of the car working. Like that, when the body converts food into metabolic energy, into usable nutritional energy for the body, the byproduct is always there. And that byproduct is some toxins which always stay in the blood. When our eliminative energy is high, if we eliminate those toxins well, then our vitality also is high, because there's no toxin which is bringing us down. There's no pollution. When the pollution is high, then vitality is low. So that's why there is always a focus in reflexology, acupressure, marma, mudra, yoga. Always focus on detox, detox, detox. Why? Because you remove the toxin, you remove the pollution, then the energy automatically becomes higher. Okay. So remove impurities in the blood, strengthens upper body prana flow. So our digestive organs are in the upper body, so it is helping the upper body. And it is the last of the sequence. So 1, 2, and 3. 1 Apana, 2 Varuna, 3 Pranamudra. After that, we do additionally Nadi Shodhan Pranayama, because it's always good after your mudras to just introduce 5-10 minutes of pranayama. So we will do Nadi Shodhan Pranayama, which is alternate nostril breath. So we have another mudra, Nasikra Mudra it's called, where we put the middle finger and index finger in between the eyebrows, thumb over the right nostril, ring finger over the left nostril. So we don't close both together. We'll close one at a time. I will guide. So we breathe in through left, exhale right, inhale right, exhale left. That is one cycle. So after we finish the mudra practice, we'll do the Nadi Shodhan. Okay. Okay, so now let us practice the meditation together. Maybe I can, no need of keeping the screen, because you can see back so that you can see my hand. In case you have any doubt, you can look at the camera so that you can see my hand position. But okay, one time before we start, again we will do. So first we start with Apana, thumb touching the middle and ring finger. Then we move into Varuna, thumb touching the little finger. I will give the instruction. And then we go into Prana. So each one 5 minutes, I will see the time. And then we go into Nadi Shodhan Pranayama. So just normal, long, deep breaths in and out. If you know Ujjayi breath, you can also do Ujjayi breath. But little bit tiring to do Ujjayi breath for so long. So you just do as much as you can. Yeah, and you just follow the mudras. Okay, so let's sit comfortably and easily. Sit in position. You can put your phone on silent. You can take off your glasses if you wear glasses. Maybe I can just play slight music. Okay, so let's sit comfortably and easily and close our eyes. First, we start with Mahamudra, which is simply all fingers open, palms facing the ceiling. Let's take a few seconds to bring the mind back to the body. Observe every breath going in, energizing the body, and then coming out, release, relaxing the body. Relax the shoulders, relax the arms. Let's begin with the first mudra, Apana Mudra, touching the thumb to the tips of the middle and ring finger, resting on your thigh facing up. Tocca il pollice, anulare e medio. Lascia indice e mignolo aperto. Palme delle mani rivolte verso l'alto. Nice long deep breaths in and out. Keep the attention with the breath. deep breath in and breathe out. You can slowly relax your fingers. Keeping the eyes closed. Let's go into the next mudra, Varuna Mudra. Touch the tip of the thumb with the tip of the little finger. Toca il pollice con mignolo, l'altra tre dita aprono. The other three fingers are open. And once again, let's return to the breath. Eyes closed, shoulders relaxed. And just keep breathing. Just remember, every breath you are nourishing your digestive system. You're balancing the body. So take joy in this and enjoy each breath. Keep going back, returning to the breath. Mindful of every breath going in and out. Take a deep breath in. And as you breathe out, relax your fingers, relax your palms. Another deep breath in. And let's begin with the last mudra, Prana Mudra, touching the tip of the thumb to the tip of the ring and little finger. Tocca pollice, con mignolo e anulare. Long deep breaths in and out. Stay with the breath, remembering that with every breath you are nourishing the body. For a few seconds, you do nothing, just stay in the mudra. Keeping the eyes closed and relax. Keep bringing your mind back to the breath. Deep breath in Slowly breathing out, relax the fingers, relax the hands. Let's begin Nadi Shodhan Pranayam. Left hand in Chin Mudra, touching the thumb with the tip of the index finger. Other three fingers are open. Right hand, middle and index finger in between the eyebrows. Thumb over the right nostril. Ring finger over the left nostril. Breathe in through both nostrils. Close the right. Exhale through the left. Inhale left. Exhale right. Inhale right. Exhale left. Inhale left. Exhale right. Inhale right. Exhale left. And continue for 4 to 5 more rounds. Alternate nostril breath, inhaling and exhaling long deep breaths. As you breathe out through the left nostril, you can slowly relax. Keep the eyes closed, relax the palms on the lap. Take a few deep breaths in and out. Relax the shoulders, relax the arms. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Nice deep breath in. Breathe out with a smile. Another joyful breath in. And let go. And slowly and gently, taking your own time. Whenever you feel ready and complete, you may slowly open your eyes. Welcome back. So these mudras are, even though they have so many benefits, they're just naturally so relaxing for the body, for the mind. So continue to stay in this space of balance, of balancing all the elements and staying with internal peace and harmony. If you would like, only after eating, no, after you finish lunch, dinner, only after eating, if you want to um, enhance digestion, then you can do only Apana Mudra. Otherwise, if you want to do generally, you want to add it to your everyday well-being practice for digestion, then you do the whole set. Only after meals, you may do just only this mudra for 5 to 10. Great. So thank you all very much for joining and for watching this video. Yes, so thank you for giving healing a hand. Now you have wellness in your fingertips. If you have any questions, any doubts, especially for those of you who are watching this video later and not live, you can email me at sriyawellness@gmail.com and I can get back to you with any queries that you may have. Next, we have hormones, reflexology and mudras for hormone balance. So the whole endocrine system we will be doing. That is on 20th July. The live session is 6 to 8 p.m. IST, that is Indian time. So that is 2:30 p.m. Italy, 2:30 to 4:30 Italy, and 6 to 8 India. Then on 22nd July, we have a very special webinar, Reflexology for Children. So I'll be teaching in a very fun, simple way for children to learn easy things, easy reflexology points that they can do to improve their brain power. So to make their brain sharper, stronger, more active, more alert. So it's a wonderful opportunity if you know any children between that age group, 10 to 16 years. 10 to 16 years. 10 anni, 16 anni. So this is for them, a lovely opportunity to take responsibility for their own health. Then if anyone is interested to really learn the complete reflexology points, we have a hand and foot reflexology complete set of training, like it's an in-depth training for 4 days, July 24, 25, 26, 27, 3 hours each day. It will help you to become a reflexologist. So after that, you can treat yourself and others for any condition. Like now we did only digestion, only immunity, only hormones. But imagine knowing all of them, no? Having an all-round approach to reflexology. So if you are interested, you can reach out for that. So all the best and see you all soon. Thank you very much. Have a good evening, good night.